reporter James Andre is standing by for us in Beirut. James, what details can you tell us about the strike then?
Well, what's emerging when it comes to the strike is that this was a drone strike that fired 4 missiles, actually into the same building, it appears, because, in fact, Israeli intelligence knew that there was a top-level meeting on the basement of this building at the -2 level, basically leveling this building, damaging the buildings nearby. There were 12 people killed. That's the current death toll. That is set to rise. And then we have, of course, the main target, which was Ibrahim Aqil, who is one of the main operatives when it comes to the armed part of Hezbollah. He's broadly seen as being number 2 or number 3 of the organization at this stage. And he perpetrated 2 major terrorist attacks in Beirut back in 1983 that killed over 300 Americans. So he was most wanted by the Israelis, but also by the Americans, who had a $7 million bounty on his head.
And Beirut has come under a wave of attacks this week, first with the pagers and then the walkie-talkies, and now the strike. What's the atmosphere like there at the moment?
If you like, when you walk around Beirut, and I'm currently in town, there are very few people around, in fact. Usually the city is bustling on a Friday morning, but that wasn't the case today. As we drove across, we did go to various places, including hospitals, and we spoke to a lot of people who told us, well, they were wary, they were worried, and they really see the pager attack especially as a new step, something different. One person told me, we've never seen that anywhere in the world before. So we have some people telling me they wouldn't take a lift with people they thought may be part of Hezbollah. And the reason for that is that the impact of that attack is now appearing very clearly here in Lebanon. We spoke to 2 doctors today at the St. George Hospital in central Beirut. Now, they were treating the wounded. One is part of the emergency room, and the other one is an expert when it comes to the eyes, and he's also a surgeon. And he was telling us how they just operated back-to-back on these people coming in with terrible injuries due to these pagers blowing up. This is what they had to tell us.
The people we saw were in shock because no one understood what had happened. Within a split second, some lost their sight, their mobility, part of their hand. So these people arriving here were in shock and completely overwhelmed. They were young people aged 15, 20, 25, 30 years old. So it was a lot to take on for the team.
They keep the beeper in both hands, with both hands, so fixing in front of his face. So for this reason, most of injury are in both hands or both fingers to specify, and both eyes. Some of them, they have injury at the level of the face, of the chest, of the both shoulders, but most of them specifically both hands, fingers, and eyes.
Right, James Andre reporting for us there from Beirut.
So what we have here is...
Oh, continue please, James.
I was saying just simply, there were 300, according to the health ministry figure, 300 people have lost both their eyes, 500 has lost one eye, thousands are now coming home after a few days in hospital with missing fingers, blinded. So, of course, this has a major impact and has had a major psychological impact on the whole of Lebanon. And of course, it does put Hezbollah in a very difficult position. They know their communication is compromised. They have their fighters who are now wounded. And, actually, Ibrahim Aqil himself just came out of hospital this morning. He had been wounded by his pager and is now dead after an Israeli strike.
All right, thank you so much.